Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who collection update. I'll be showing you all the lovely bits of Doctor Who merchandise I picked up in January. So yeah, this is the first one for 2025 and we've got a nice selection of merch. We've got a prop replica, a graphic novel, books and of course Big Finish, because a collection update without Big Finish from me would be weird. So if you're new around here and you like your Doctor Who merch, then please do consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you enjoy this video, please do leave a like, because it appeases the YouTube algorithm gods, which are the gods of Ragnarok, and they need to be entertained, so please do leave a like. So without further ado, let the entertainment begin and let's take a look at some lovely bits of Doctor Who merchandise. Kicking off this collection update with a bang, we have the 14th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver by Rubbertoe Replicas. Now my edition is 66 out of 500. And yeah, this is the most expensive bit of Doctor Who merchandise I have ever bought, and yeah, I love it. I think that this is a real nice sort of centerpiece for the collection. It is a thing of beauty. I mean, you'd hope so for the price of it, but yeah, it is really stunning. I have filmed a review of this Sonic Screwdriver. I just need to edit it, so that should be coming out over the next couple weeks. But yeah, to have a little bit of Doctor Who history, having the anniversary, the Sonic for the 60th anniversary, it's a real special thing, and I love the design. I think it's such an intricate design of Sonic. It's a nice amalgamation of all the various Sonics. Yeah, it really is a thing of beauty, and it's just a wonderful centerpiece for the collection. Moving on, we have a graphic novel. Now, since 2020, I've been picking up the Doctor Who Panini graphic novel collections. And last year I really got back into collecting them and was like, right, I'm going to try and get all the ones that I want and try and complete that collection. And with thanks to Mel, I technically have, and I'll get on to technically in a minute. So it was the Eye of Torment. So thanks to Mel, we have the first 12th Doctor graphic novel, which completes my Panini graphic novel collection, technically. So this has completed the Doctor run, so I've got a sort of, I guess, complete comic run from the 4th Doctor right up until the 14th Doctor with Liberation of the Daleks. Now, Panini are a little bit crafty because they did sort of reprints of certain comics in sort of Daleks and Cybermen volumes like The Flood, World Shapers and all that sort of stuff, and they'd sneak in like one comic, what was sort of exclusive to that, like only like 2 pages. So, though I've technically not got a complete Doctor Who comic collection, I've got all the main Doctor sort of comics sort of in one place. So I'm going to class that as I've completed the Doctor Who Panini graphic novel. But this is a wonderful comic. Like I say, this is the first 12th Doctor comic strip, and I remember reading this when just a couple of days before Deep Breath aired. So this was our first glimpse of the actual 12th Doctor, and this has got a wonderful comic where Clara meets one of her splinters, which I think was something that wasn't resolved on the actual show. I wonder if I can actually get an image of it, but yeah, it's really cool if I can get to that. You've got a wonderful Sontaran story as well, which was a lot of fun. There you go, Sontaran's there. But if we can get to the Clara Splinter story, because it's got some great little artwork there, so it's a great sort of filling in the gaps, I think, within the actual show, what we didn't really get in the actual show, really. Yeah, here we are. We're getting to the Clara Splinter section there. There we go. We've got Clara meeting one of the splinters there, and we've got this wonderful artwork there of some various splinters of Clara there. So yeah, really looking forward to giving that one a read eventually. But yeah, really excited because I do want to sort of marathon the Doctor Who comics in order and just sort of see how they progress. And of course we get a Paternoster gang comic as well. So we have the Eye of Torment. From a graphic novel to, I guess, sophistication with Doctor Who books. So we've got 3 EDAs and 3 PDA books. So we have Father Time for the first EDA. This is part of the sort of Earth arc with sort of the 8th Doctor losing his memories because the 8th Doctor has a brain like Swiss cheese, because he's always getting his memory wiped and having amnesia. He's a poor guy, isn't he? But we love the 8th Doctor. So yeah, this is meant to be a really good book by Lance Parkin. Lance Parkin is one of those writers who always delivers, and it's meant to be one of the great EDAs in the collection. So I look forward to getting around to reading that, because I think I'm missing 2 books from the sort of Earth arc series. I think Endgame and another one I can't remember off the top of my head. But then we have quite a fun, quirky EDA, which is The Crooked World, where we have the 8th Doctor, Fitz and Angie visit the planet of the Looney Tunes. It's meant to be a lot of fun, written by Steve Lyons, who is a tremendous writer, so I think that this is going to be a real fun one to read, so I look forward to giving that a read eventually. But yeah, really like that. It's a very striking book, isn't it? Very colourful. So yeah, I look forward to that. And great spine, so that's going to stand out on your shelf, isn't it? The Crooked World. And the last EDA is Trading Futures by Lance Parkin. This is sort of the 8th Doctor's sort of, I guess, sort of Bond-esque story. It looks very sort of James Bond, doesn't it, there with sort of the gun sight there as a sort of cover. Yeah, I really am looking forward to this one. This sounds really cool. Past Doctor wise, we have a Virgin Missing Adventure, which is Invasion of the Cat People. Look at those cat people, don't they look very 90s? Yes, there. It's a cat revolution, I guess. So yeah, we have a second Doctor Ben and Polly story, so this is going to be very exciting to experience that, because we don't really have many stories just featuring this TARDIS team, and when you think of the second Doctor, you think of the second Doctor and Jamie. So it's going to be interesting just to have a story without Jamie, really. So yeah, very interested. I've seen sort of mixed reviews on this, but I'm going to make my own judgment when I get around to reading this story. Now, I just have got 2 more Virgin Missing Adventures to get, then I'll have the complete set. So we're nearly there, and this is looking very good condition as well. So yeah, very happy, because I think I paid like £5 for it, so for £5, that's an absolute bargain. Then we have some BBC Past Doctor Adventures, another story by Gary Russell, which is Business Unusual, where we have the 6th Doctor and the Brigadier and Autons. This is the second story in, I think, the Pale Man trilogy. I think the last story is Instruments of Darkness with the 6th Doctor and Evelyn. Yeah, I think this is the 3rd Past Doctor adventure. It sounds really interesting, and I'm very excited to give that one a read as well. But yeah, really excited, because I think this might be Mel's introduction story, possibly. I think that's what I've heard. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it could be the first time the 6th Doctor meets Mel on this. But yeah, very interested to give that one a go and sort of see how it links with the Pale Man trilogy, what started in Scales of Injustice. And the final book I'm going to show is a book by Simon Gurrier, which is The Time Travellers, featuring the 1st Doctor, Ian, Barbara and Susan. This is quite a rare PDA. This one goes for silly money, but I managed to get it for a good price, and yeah, it's looking very nice condition. Yeah, this one's always fascinated me. Because Simon Gurrier just knows how to write 1960s Doctor Who. If you listen to his companion chronicles, like the Sarah Kingdom trilogy, the Oliver Harper stuff, the Sontarans, he just really gets the flavour of 60s Doctor Who, like in, you know, The Outliers. So I'm really excited to give this one a read. I think this is his first Doctor Who book, and yeah, it just seems like it's going to be a really great story, having sort of the 1st Doctor in, I think, 2006, how sort of how the 1960s would interpret 2006. So that's going to be very exciting and I guess kind of wholesome in a way to see how I guess the 60s would imagine the 2000s to be. But yeah, very excited to give that one a read. Big Finish time. My goodness, Big Finish had a big January. So many big releases being released in January. Like, my goodness, what a way to kickstart the year. It was just crazy. But before we look at some of the 2025 Big Finish output, we need to cover some late additions from the 2024 Big Finish output, and the first Big Finish that arrived for me this year, which is Once and Future Coda, the final act, seeing the Fugitive Doctor versus the War Doctor. Now, Once and Future was a bit of a mixed bag for me, and this very much continues from where the Union finished, with the War Doctor going off in his TARDIS and then finding out that he's being pursued by the Fugitive Doctor, and them sort of going, alright, we'll meet on this planet and we'll have a big old fight, bring your army, I'll bring an army, and we'll have a fight, really. And that's the story for it. And Bernie Summerfield is caught in the crossfire trying to unite the Doctors together. So yeah, this is this is a really good story. I enjoyed it. It was a nice sort of tantalising glimpse of Jo Martin's first performance at Big Finish, and it definitely got me excited for her box set. Jonathan Carley is incredible. But yeah, I think that this, for me, is one of the standouts of Once and Future. This is very much an epilogue. You don't need to listen to the other Once and Future releases to enjoy this story. But yeah, it was good. I did enjoy that story. And then continuing the celebrations of the Doctor and the anniversary of the Doctor, we have the 50th anniversary of the Fourth Doctor with Doctor Who: The Curse of Time. Now, this was meant to have a slipcover. As you can see, it does not have a slipcover, so I don't know if Big Finish, that was a mistake on their website, or they are going to do a slipcover. Who knows? But this is to celebrate 50 years of Tom Baker's Fourth Doctor. And as an anniversary story, I was really excited for this because Genesis of the Daleks was my first classic story I watched properly. So I was really excited because I'm for season 12 TARDIS team is very special, and Big Finish haven't really explored it. They've only done the Lost Stories, and they're fun little curio pieces. So this is the first time Big Finish have done sort of original fiction with them, and it's interesting because when the Big Finish do sort of celebration releases, they're very much sort of throwing everything at it. Look at Trials of a Time Lord, it is very much celebrating Colin's era. This is very subtle, which I like, and I appreciate what it was going for, and I think it's got some great ideas within there, like this sort of a society regressing back to sort of the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, with this sort of creepy brotherhood. That just, screams sort of Mask of Mandragora, really cool. And then you try and add in sort of the arc in space element to this story, where I just don't think the ideas sort of cohese together. Well, we've done a full review, me and Luke, on this story, and yeah, it's okay. Like, I feel like it's a 6 out of 10. We're going to move away from CDs quickly, but continue with the Fourth Doctor, because the first Big Finish to be released in 2025 was a audio novel, Lord of Misrule, which is a season 16 story featuring the Fourth Doctor Romana and Jago and Lightfoot. This is a 7-hour-and-a-half story, and that might sound very daunting, but I tell you what, this was a real fun. This is one of my favourite releases of the year so far, which feels crazy because we're only in February, but there's just something really comforting and very cosy about listening to the audio novels. They're a nice sort of, I guess, palate cleanser from your usual Big Finish listening, so if you want something a little bit different to listen to, these are perfect, and I think that this is a great direction for the audio novels to go down, using sort of TARDIS teams Big Finish don't really have access to, and yeah, this was just tremendous. John Coleshaw is a brilliant reader. When you've got John Coleshaw reading one of these, you're in for a good time. His Tom Baker's brilliant, his Jago is marvellous, and his Lightfoot's pretty good, and his Romana is there too as well. But I love that the world that is crafted in High March. It's a story that when I was listening to it, I was like, I just can't stop thinking about it. I was just really loving it. I think that's the thing with these audio novels. You just get so immersed. And obviously we had the sad news that Christopher Benjamin passed away. So that really hit differently when I continued listening to that. Because I was like, oh my goodness, Jago. It's a really, really good story. Perfect for sort of the sort of back end of winter, because it's sort of part of the theme of the story, which is really interesting, and learning about an old English tradition as well, and putting that at the forefront of a story was really cool. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's one of my favourite releases. It voted 7 hours. It just flew by. I just really found myself getting immersed in the world that was created there. It's just great to have Jago and Lightfoot back, as a massive Jago and Lightfoot fan. That's not all for the audio novels, because Big Finish had a sort of celebrating 25 years of them having the Doctor Who license, so he did like a random Doctor Who selection, and I picked up The Watchers by Matthew Wardhouse. This was the second audio novel that Big Finish did. I think it was £10, so for £10 to get, a 7-hour story, an absolute bargain. Now I believe that this is meant to be a love letter to sort of the latter end of the Fourth Doctor era, sort of the whimsical nature of the Graham Williams era, with the cold science of Christopher H. Bidmead. And this, I've always been fascinated by what would the Daleks be like in E-Space, and I think that this story answers that. So I'm really interested to give that a listen at some point. But yeah, very interested to see what Matthew Waterhouse has conjured up for the Fourth Doctor and Adric. Going back to physical releases, we had the start of a new series, Zygon Sentry Infiltration. There's the spine for people who are interested. This feels like a nice sort of callback to early Big Finish, where they would sort of put a Doctor Who monster front and centre, like Cyberman, Dalek Empire, I Davros, and sort of flesh it out. I've not actually listened to Zygon Sentry. I was a little bit on the fence about picking this one up, because for me, I'm sort of trying to streamline my sort of Big Finish by, with, you know, picking up stories that actually interest me, and not letting FOMO win. And yeah, this ties in with season 6B with the Second Doctor, and obviously a couple years ago there was sort of a thing with the Robert Banks Stewart sort of creatures like Krynoids and Zygons, where they vanished off the Big Finish website, where you couldn't buy or download the stories. So out of sort of fear, I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick this one up just in case it does disappear. But yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a go, because it's meant to be quite a dark and gritty series, much like, I think the second story is meant to be sort of the more adult themed one. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to give this one a go. And obviously we've got a Torchwood story tying in with this, and hopefully it does get a second box set, because I think, you know, it will complete the actual century aspect of it. But yeah, looking forward to getting around to listening to this one eventually. But yeah, I've heard very good things about it, so I'm looking forward to checking that one out. And what a cover! I love the cover art for it. And then we have our first Doctor release, I guess, for the year, which was The Living Darkness, seeing the first Doctor reunite with an older Stephen. I've only listened to the first 2 episodes of this story so far, and yeah, I think Peter Purves and Stephen Noonan are really putting in tremendous performances there, really engaging, and there's a very intriguing mystery with what's going on with this story. So I'm looking forward to continuing listening to this story. But yeah, very, I'm enjoying it so far. With what we've got so far with that. Next up, we have Faithful Friends, Classic Doctor's New Monsters, Volume 5. What a interesting set. This set is really difficult to talk about. If you've listened to it, you'll know exactly what I'm getting at, because you have a wonderful Krillitane story with the Second Doctor, which is very much classic Second Doctor, base under siege, got some real great sort of gruesome moments. The Fourth Doctor one, The Dying Breed with the Lupari, just feels like a very classic Fourth Doctor story. I feel like Tim Foley writes for the Fourth Doctor what we all imagine in our heads, and K9 is put front and centre, and it's just comedy gold, and I love it. And then we have the Krillitane Relic with the Seventh Doctor and Ray and Zoe, which real great character stuff and character drama within that. And then we have the Eighth Doctor and Monk story, which is so bizarre, but I really enjoyed it. I think for me, this could possibly be the best Classic Doctor's New Monsters set. I feel like that's a bold thing to say, but I have to say that I enjoyed all of the stories in this set. Final Big Finish I'm going to talk about is probably one of the big releases for people this year, where Big Finish get to carve a new identity for the Doctor and create a whole new era for this Doctor, and that is the Fugitive Doctor, Most Wanted. Here it is on CD. There is the spine for people who are interested, and there's the back, because this CD is sadly out of print. It was limited to 1,000 copies, I believe, but it's going to be the same for Dead and Alive, and it sold out within sort of the second day of it being released, which is incredible when you think about it. But then you realise, hang on, it's been up for order since 2022 April. So yeah, it's incredible that it's sold out, and you know, well done Big Finish. But I do think that they should do like a limited repress of it, because normally Big Finish CDs are limited to like 1,250. So maybe if they do like another 250 copies to give people a chance to own, you know, because this is a piece of Big Finish history. This is a Doctor's first box set on audio, so I feel like this, you know, deserves a reprint. As for the box set, me and Luke have done a review, you can check out our Big Finish review playlist, so if you can check out any of these releases we've reviewed. An interesting start. I think Fast Times doesn't really feel like a beginner Big Finish. It doesn't really feel very accessible to new listeners. The standout of this set is easily The Legend of Baba Yaga, where it sort of mixes sort of Slavic folklore with science, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. I think that is the standout of the set. And then we have the final story by Lisa McMullen, which is The Dimension of Lost Things, which has so many interesting ideas, and it's sort of overcrammed with ideas, and you're like, this is so rich, that could just be a box set in itself. And yet it chooses to be sort of a generic sort of runaround, which is a bit of a shame. And I guess it's kind of a little bit authentic to Chris Chibnall's era, where it sort of chooses the less exciting idea to expand on. But yeah, I still think that it's a solid set, and I think it's one you should check out because it is a piece of Big Finish history. It's a Doctor's debut at Big Finish, and yeah, it's a pretty good start. I'm very excited to see where we're going, and I'm very excited to listen to the next set, Dead or Alive. But yeah, that is a Fugitive Doctor Most Wanted. There we go, that has been my Doctor Who collection update for January 2025. A nice selection of Doctor Who merchandise with the wonderful Roboto replicas like Screwdriver, some books, graphic novels, and of course, Big Finish. If you enjoyed this video, then please do like and subscribe because it really does help the channel out. And I'll see you next time for more Doctor Who related content coming up in the near future. Like many Big Finish reviews, because Big Finish, there's a lot of Big Finish coming out this year and a few Big Finish releases to catch up on to review. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.